And I find there's a whole side street full of sheriff vehicles, but not one blue light, not one red light. No indication, even from right there, 20 yards away. No indication that there's a single police vehicle. Just some yellow lights, like you would see on a passenger vehicle. It's no coincidence. The sheriffs are and the police, all these folks that like to break the law, and they like to do it with complete immunity and privacy with no consequences. They've all been comparing notes, and they know what to do now. They know how to keep their location secret. And I don't remember, I forget that deputy's name, but yeah, I don't have a whole lot of nice things to say about the sheriff right now. They've just done a lot of awful shit in my neighborhood. A lot of awful, awful things. But these are things that they've been doing for an awful long time. They've been beating people up, murdering people. Just really acting like thugs, like gang members. Much worse, far worse than the people on the street that they pretend to be policing. Oh, okay. But there's always an exception, and I hate to say that because this guy's got as much blood on his hands as anybody else. But, oh, well, thank you. I took a shower this week. Yeah, it is. I knew what you meant. I was just kidding. I don't watch sports. I'm out here monitoring you guys. I don't know about football. I don't remember the guy's name right now, but you probably do if you've been watching my videos. He's kind of a ham for the camera. How are you? Very good. I think a big problem with the sheriff department is the deputies out here on the street. I think they've all run a tour through the county jail. And in case you didn't know, the Los Angeles County Jail is one of the worst places on the planet. To have to live there would definitely not be a good thing. The reason it's so bad there is because of the people that run it. And that's the Los Angeles Sheriff Department. And this has been going on forever. The department has been run by turds for a very long time, probably forever. I mean, obviously, I'm not old enough to know all those details, but there's just been a lot of cowards in the Los Angeles Sheriff Department, if not. I think it's safe to say they're all cowards, even the best one of them. I don't know who the best one would be, but he's no better than the worst. These guys. I want to just try to explain this if I can, and I'm going to be very honest about this. Okay, we have some gangs, like a street gang. They maybe jump a person in to their gang, but to do that person has to fight. This is years ago. Do they still do it like this? Maybe they don't do it this way anymore. But years ago, if you were getting jumped in a gang, you might have to fight 15 guys. Right? Not for a super long time, but they're gonna all be attacking you, and you're gonna be trying to attack them right back and not give up, because you're proving that you're not a coward. In other words, you're willing to take on an army of opponents and stand your ground. And then afterwards, they'll hug you, and you're part of that gang, part of that family. Okay, but with the sheriff department, that's not how they do it. It's very similar, except for they pick an innocent person who has no knowledge of what's going on. They pull over an innocent person on the street. This is the street version. In the LA County Jail, it's even worse, because then they're doing it to an innocent person in handcuffs. But out here on the street, what the sheriff department will do is they'll just pull somebody over. Doesn't matter if they broke the law or not. What's going on? Why am I pulled over, officer? Okay, and then they will just pummel this person who, by law, is not allowed to fight back. Right? They'll kick the teeth right out of his mouth, kick the eyeballs out of his head, break his orbital sockets. They will smash his face, smash the bones in his face everywhere. So there's almost nothing left. You can't recognize the person at this point. You might think they're done, but no, they're just getting started. And then they'll break arms, they'll break legs, wrists, fingers, whatever. And then they'll pull down the pants and they'll hit the genitals with the taser. And sometimes they'll shove their batons into eye sockets or into private places where they're not supposed to go. And then they'll leave the person laying in the street bleeding while they take pictures of each other and celebrate and slap high fives and drink bottled water that we paid for. And they'll take the celebration into the evening. A street gang, if you're following what I'm saying, a street gang, I don't really have any desire to be in one, but I'm not going to criticize people that have decided to take that route. But at least the beating they're taking is chosen and it's to prove themselves in front of their associates. There's no innocent person being beat down. Let me try to put this differently. The sheriff department beats people who by law cannot protect themselves. And it doesn't matter once they're unconscious, they continue beating them and kicking them and attacking them. In other words, there's no bigger coward on the planet Earth. I can't think of anything more cowardly than that. I'm not sure if you can. If you can, maybe make a comment. I can't really think of something more cowardly than that. But that's the kind of shit the sheriff department does out here. And I guess the point is to prove your loyalty to your gang. And to prove your loyalty, you attack a person that's unconscious either until they're dead or until you're so weak you don't have any more strength to hit them anymore. I forget why I even started talking about that now, but yeah, that's like the biggest cowards on the planet. This is the sheriff department. I'm not saying that there's not comparable cowards from other agencies. There probably are. But the sheriff department does this shit in my neighborhood. And if that's not bad enough, they get caught. Repeatedly. This has been going on for decades. But they got caught on the anniversary for the LA riots. May 4th, 2020. Laura and I caught them. They tried to conduct a cover-up, basically. That didn't work out for him. I caught the same two deputies doing it again in broad daylight. Deputy Walker and Deputy Groves had another man. They claimed deputy involved in active fight. Of course, the person they're fighting is unconscious. But, when I get there, they've got a spit mask on him. He's unconscious. And they're still trying to hide their name tags from me. I guess I understand why. There was a little confusion as to who they were. Which one was Walker and which one was Groves. I'm not talking about Ryan Walker, not the black guy. This is Kevin Walker. Not only was he responsible for initiating what was almost a murder of Christopher Bailey, but on top of that, I forget the name of, there's another guy that I think he murdered in October of last year. It could have been November on 108th Street and possibly Budlong. Besides murdering him, for whatever reason, they thought it was appropriate to shoot a hole in his penis. I think that probably goes right along with the tasering of the genitals, right? They're just sick. They've tortured people in the county jail for so long that when they come out here on the street, they don't realize that, that's not really what we're paying these guys to do. It's unfortunate too because there's several deputies that I would like to say I think are good people, but how could they be good people when they work alongside with people that do that and they're not ever going to say anything because their job depends on keeping their mouth shut, right? Because if they were to speak up, they would be alienated. They would be possibly in a position where backup might not arrive if they're in a dangerous call. And to me, that just sounds like a fucking coward. I'm out here on my bicycle with no backup every night of the week, exposing the biggest cowards on the earth, right? So if you read any of the transcripts from the whistleblowers in the sheriff department, the first thing they say is, "Oh, I'm so scared, in danger of my life because I told them the biggest gang and they're dangerous and they could hurt me. So I need, $5 million to retire and to stay safe because this gang is dangerous. So I've been out here on a fucking bicycle doing it for free all this time. I'm not saying they're wrong that it's not dangerous. I'm just saying what a bunch of cowards. Also, I do appreciate the whistleblowers because they've confirmed a lot of the things that I've known, but that I couldn't prove on my own. There's a lot of deputies in the back of this property, and probably even the ones that I know are the. I don't understand why Groves and Walker, why they think they think they need to initiate fights as often as possible on people who aren't fighting back. Like, why? What is the thrill of putting a person in the hospital? I don't know. I just don't get it. I think it just falls back on that thing, like you're a coward. Like if that's what you think is important, you are a coward and you don't need to be on my streets. And you have one more chance to prevent me from publishing the videos about this stuff. I'm right here. You know where I'm at? I'm on Rosecrans near Hawthorne Boulevard. I have all my videos in my camera that's on my side. So when I leave this scene right here, you might have, say, 10 or 15 minutes to try to prevent me from publishing this stuff. Pretty sure this will be your last chance. And I think the ball's already in motion. You couldn't stop it at this point, but just what kind of excuse is that? You can't speak up because you might not get backup when it counts the most. Deputy Stewart said that shit one time, not in those words, but I know you guys can't see the situation over here, but even if I point my camera over there, you still can't see it. It's behind that minivan. I was questioning Stewart about, Laura was questioning him about why can't he do something when one of his trainees or a deputy is breaking the law right in front of him? Why can't you do something to stop that deputy? Why can't you say one word, speak up, and tell him to act right? And his response was something like, heaven forbid I'm mistaken in correcting this trainee, this deputy, which logically you could take that comment as, what if I'm wrong and I correct him and it costs him his life? Okay, but I've thought it through since then, and I realize now that's what he was probably hoping I would take out of it, but that's not what he meant. What he meant was, heaven forbid if I lift one finger to criticize one of my coworkers, heaven forbid they return the favor one time and don't back me up out here on the streets. God, that's just a cowardly excuse. That's a cowardly fucking excuse. Imagine if the rest of us in this world walked around making stupid excuses like that to be unethical pieces of shit. Heaven forbid I stop this coworker of mine from murdering an innocent person and somehow it explodes in my face. Wow, that's a really good reason. I'm really impressed with that, Deputy Stewart. If there was a heaven and if it forbid anything, it would be your blood running in the streets, not your victims. So I think we could save that bullshit about heaven forbid. Apparently there's no such thing. I mean, what is the point of having all these police if they don't have a backbone? They can't make one correct decision ever. Because if they do, heaven forbid, one of their criminal coworkers might not appreciate it. So anyways, this most recent beating with Walker and Groves was on the 101st block. I can't remember the street right now, right near the 405 freeway. They have this This guy, I probably already said, is wearing a spit mask, doing the fish in the ambulance. And they're doing everything they can to pull vehicles between my camera and their victim. They're sending, ladies, women off the street, suggesting that they tell me not to, to not record because of their kids. I might be recording their kids, and who knows what I might do with these videos of their kids, of their children. When all that shit didn't work, they tried to hide in their car, thinking I wouldn't follow them. I want to take a different position. Do you guys remember the spectacular show that Gomez and Parga put on while they were trying to push Laura away and prevent her from... It's no longer acceptable to murder a person in the street and then just forget to mention that, there was 2 or 3 photographers there that recorded the aftermath and then leave the victims to defend themselves with nothing but dishonest sheriff report. The evidence has a name. I might not pronounce it right. I think it's exculpatory. And not just the sheriff department, but every agency in California. If we show up and catch them doing dirt, they just don't bother to put that shit in their reports. It's not important, right? We wouldn't want a video of our crimes to show up in a courtroom. I don't see why not. Their contracts, their union, the judges, the prosecutors would never punish them for anything they ever did anyways, or anything they didn't do. So why not let a handicapped or paralyzed defendant that you created maliciously, why not let them have a little bit of evidence to defend themselves? I want to talk about another scenario. How about the Rodney King incident, right? The riots. That, I think it was, I guess I don't need to know the year, okay? But was it 1992, the riots? Ended on May 4th. So maybe several days before that, was it Reginald Denny that was pulled out of his truck and beat, right? And the newscopters, they got right above, they got a great shot of it. Or depending on how you look at it, it may not be great, but no doubt they recorded, zoomed in, a clear video of this man being pulled from his truck and beat nearly to death. So this is a long time ago. What did I say? 1992? So it's amazing. The news media actually has the capacity, the capability to record a beating like that. So now someone tell me, how has the news failed to ever record a single beating when it's the police beating somebody? How is it that the police helicopters were following along when Rodney King was supposedly involved in that little pursuit? How is it that George Holiday filmed it from his balcony, but the police didn't have their own video of that incident? How is it that Laura and I filmed, we came from Figueroa, we recorded Christopher Bailey. We don't have a helicopter, but if we did, we could have zoomed in and recorded it from Figueroa without even having to travel, the distance to Prairie Avenue. How is it these helicopters have failed to record a single incident of brutality in the history of this country? They could film what they call riots. If some people are marching in the street, they could record that just fine. Why can't a police helicopter or a news helicopter record a single incident of police brutality from the air? Why are they not recording it themselves? Because if it's us committing a crime against the police, you could be damn sure they're there and they won't miss it. But when the police are committing a crime against us, for some reason they're always out of film, or their batteries are dead. Or what is it? They point it the other direction. I'm on Rosecrans, right by Hawthorne Boulevard, 4300 block. And there's Sabatine. I think they just let somebody go out of the back of their car, whatever that situation was. Maybe I should ask Sabatine. He always likes to talk. Maybe he could explain why mainstream media in this country has never once captured an incident of them beating somebody in the street when you know, someone on a bicycle could do it every day of the week. Okay, okay, this just became more complicated than I realized. This is connected to some other situation that I recorded earlier. Sabatine, what's up? I have a question for you. How come, you know, you know how remember you might be too young for this, but do you remember the LA riots? There was a man, Reginald Denny, if I got his name right. He was pulled out of a truck.
Oh, they smashed the brakes on him?
Yeah, that whole thing, right? And the mainstream media, they recorded that from the air, okay. Right? Do you remember that's how we seen it? That's yeah. How is it the mainstream media has never ever recorded a beating like that when it's the police beating a person on the ground?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, that's like a nationally televised event because it was an event that lasted for a long period of time.
But it had just started though. But
most uses of forces happen spontaneously, where a helicopter just doesn't happen to be flying around. You know what I'm saying?
That's a
fairly good point.
It's about yeah. I didn't know if you would even respond, so I had to ask.
That's my opinion.
I appreciate it, Sabatine.
Take care,
and something else, you know, that guy you took into custody in that one pursuit?
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Where the guy didn't get hurt?
Yeah.
And I think it was you that, I just want to tell you, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Right on. Sometimes we do good stuff. Every once in a while.
All right.
All right. I can't wait to read the comments on your video.
It's live, so, but yeah.
It makes my day.
All right. Yeah, someone said, did the news crews not have scanners? They have a lot more than that. They have helicopters. They have the fact that I can show up on my bicycle and capture awful things happening it doesn't paint a very good picture for the news media. You know, they have no concern. They're not interested. They do everything in their power to leave people like Christopher Bailey with the time that it requires for him to be beat to death in the street. I guess they're saving money, you know, that otherwise would have been wasted on gas. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful evening. I haven't... What's that? No, do you want me to? Okay, well... What? No, look, I'll show you. Come here, I'll show you. Come here. Well, I wanted to explain it to him. I was going to show him like this. I was going to say, see this? This is my camera. See how I'm pointing at myself? And there's people talking and I'm talking to them. But like a lot of people, you know, they have a lot to say until they realize you're going to participate in the conversation and then suddenly it's over. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll talk to you soon.